So, Robert, it looks like I recognize somebody here. Who is this guy?
Yeah, that's Bill Gates, and I was having lunch with him with Gizmodo, Engadget, Joystick, and Kotaku this afternoon, and we had 45 minutes to talk with him and asked him from everything about his speeding tickets to building software for multi-core Intel processors.
And what did you do in this world that you could sit down with Bill Gates and talk nicely about all these kinds of things?
Well, I'm a blogger, and I've worked at Microsoft for 3 years, but I think they invited me because I have a unique view on the tech industry, and I've been writing and shooting video about the tech industry for the last few months at PodTech on scobleizer.com. And I've done
You were named the human face of Microsoft. Why is that?
Because I was blogging, and I was doing something that was different from a corporate perspective. I was attacking Microsoft. I was linking to people who were attacking Microsoft. I was giving the inside view. I was carrying around a camera just like you are, and going into people's offices and going, "Who are you? What do you do?" and getting a look at what they did.
And why did they let you? Because normally Microsoft is very uptight, and they really try to control everything when it comes to the outside world. Why did they let you? Who protected you?
Do you really think I asked for permission?
Well, why didn't they throw you out?
Because they saw that I was doing them good. Steve Ballmer signed a dollar bill for me before I was a Microsoft employee because I stood up in a conference of MVPs and I said, "Hey, Steve, why don't you get a more human face for Microsoft? Why don't you tell the story? Why don't you let people like Ian McDonald, who was a really gruff-looking programmer who works on the Windows Vista team now, why don't you let him come out and talk with us? Instead of having the PR and the marketing guys who are slick and in suits and know how to keep a strict two-message kind of thing. Let the guys who build the product come out and talk with us." And
you did that during a conference, doing a lot of people in the audience.
Oh yeah, that was at an MVP summit with almost 1,000 people. And hey, there's Doc Searles right behind you. This is the Bloghouse.
All the famous people are here passing by. This is the blogging community at large. This is called Bloghouse, and we're in the Bolivio Hotel. And so we're plotting. And when are we talking about when you started this?
This was about 3.5 years ago that I was working at Microsoft. I've been blogging for 6 years though, so I blogged for a lot longer. And before I worked at Microsoft, I told Bill Gates to split the company up. So that's why I kept using a pretty untraditional technique when I got to Microsoft, because I figured, hey, if they invited me to work here and I told them to split the company up, then maybe they want me to shake things up a little bit and do something that's not a press release or not.
And what was your primary job, or did they hire you for blogging?
No, they hired me for the evangelism group. And the evangelism group, evangelists at Microsoft work with software developers to help them build software for the next version of Windows, for instance, next version of Windows Vista. So all that software you saw that he demoed on Windows Vista, that was built in conjunction with an evangelist working with a developer or a team of developers at, something like Yahoo.
Or Ford, or...
Exactly, right. Ford was a good one, Yahoo is another one, and so on. And so a lot of people don't understand that they think evangelist is more of a religious kind of connotation.
No, on my card I had evangelist in 1995 or something like that. So I've been an evangelist. I was an internet evangelist from 1995 to... or 1994 to 1998 or something like that. But we know the term evangelist, and we don't think of it as religion whatsoever. Talking about the keynote which we saw this evening, can you give us your 2 cents on it?
I thought it was better than a lot of the Gates keynotes, probably because everything worked for once. It's been a couple of years since I've seen everything work, which actually shows that mostly what he was showing was Windows Vista and Office, stuff that's shipping, and he showed some stuff on top of that was a little bit newer, but mostly he was showing shipping software, and that obviously works a little bit better than alpha software that is a year away from shipping. But I was impressed with what he's doing with Xbox. I think they got a winner there. I think Sony fumbled and gave Microsoft leadership in that.
Well, there's 200 million Sony PlayStation sold and 10 million Xbox to free.
That's not a good number to look at. What you got to look at is what is going on in new generation, and Xbox is kicking Sony PlayStation's ass. You can get a Sony PlayStation on the shelf right now. You know, that didn't happen with Xbox. Xbox was sold out for months after Christmas.
Where can we buy it? We try to buy it everywhere. It's sold out everywhere.
Well, here at CES, I found one at Best Buy. It was on the shelf. I didn't see that happen with Xbox for months.
So let's go back to your blogging. So you came in, you were a pain in the butt. You said they should split up the company, but you were nice enough. You were nice enough, and you became known in the blogging community as the honest person inside Microsoft.
I actually wasn't a pain in the ass, and this is something I interviewed a lot of people who got fired for blogging or for what they had said on their blog. And a lot of them can't answer two questions. One, they didn't know they were taking a risk when they were being a mouthy guy, you know. And whenever you write in public or stand on stage in front of people on behalf of a corporation, you've got to understand you're taking some risk. And two, they couldn't tell me what they wanted the company to do on behalf of their behavior. And I always could answer those two questions. So even when I was being an asshole.
Yeah, you were just walking a fine line, but you always had the best interest at heart for the company.
Exactly. And I always could answer those two questions, even when I said, Steve Ballmer, you're not being a good leader here. And I did that once. And I did it in a very public way and in a very public case, which was a gay rights bill in Washington. I mean, I was quoted in the Wall Street Journal and all over the place. But when I did that, I knew I was taking a risk. I knew I could get fired. I knew that there could be career reprisals against me. And I knew what I wanted Steve Ballmer to do. And hey, I put my cards on the table and took a risk. And that's how you change culture.
Yeah, and so you changed cultures that way. And in those couple of years, you became very known. You had a blog which was about 80 or 90,000 people came there regularly.
Yeah, today I'm getting 30,000 people a day on my blog, 20 to 30,000. And then 30,000 RSS subscribers, which you don't know if they're actually reading or not.
Go into RSS space. So now, but you became very known. And then at a
the Channel 9 video blog that I was doing for Microsoft, the month I left had 4.3 million unique visitors that month. So, yeah.
Okay. So then you became known in the blogging sphere. And then at a certain point you said, okay, this is enough. I'm going to start for myself. Why was that?
The guy behind you, John Furrier, bought me a whiskey and started talking. Now, we were on a panel. He interviewed me a year before I quit Microsoft, and I just liked what he was doing. I liked that he saw a seam in the industry that wasn't being tapped. And then we were on a panel discussion, and afterwards we went out for a whiskey and started talking and go, hey, you know, I see you're doing something. You just got funded. And you're building an interesting team. He has the 16th employee at Yahoo working for him. And I said, you know, this something in video is white hot. Keep in mind, I quit before YouTube got bought by Google for $1.65 billion. So, but I knew from looking at the traffic logs that something was happening. Yeah, I saw people like Callie Lewis go start her video blog in December, a year ago. She started, and by May, she had 2 million people downloading her show. So, and that's a competitor now in Podtext, but you know, that I was watching this go on, not just with one video blogger, but across the show. I mean, there's a company in Utah who makes blenders. They put up a little video on
Will It Blend?
Will It Blend? They got 6 million downloads in 6 days.